I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's a filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Here we go, guys. This is the Death of Balance / Lacrymose. You guys ready? And then where is it ending at?
Right here.
All right, guys, let's go. Here we go.
Oh my word.
Okay.
I loved this one, man. So usually, you know, like when we listen to any of that, like orchestra sounding stuff, I'm like, this is too depressing. I can't do it. Like having like that drumming and the guitar playing mixed in with it, like the theatrical sound. So it was like, I always found like the soundtrack of Bambi to be like super sad and depressing. But then like this kind of had like that sort of sound to it in my opinion. And then you mixed in like all the other instruments and it just, I don't know, it made it kind of badass. I liked it. And it literally made me happy. Like,
yeah, I know. You're all smiling. It's just like,
yeah. And it's funny too, because it's called The Death of Balance, but I actually felt very balanced when I was listening to it. Yeah, it's funny because like the ending with I mean, it sounded like Latin, but I really don't know what it was.
So does Lacrymose mean balance? It probably means balance in Latin.
Probably.
Somebody look it up. So go ahead. So what were you saying? Tainted memories of balance lost forever. Bury the truth of all unity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Latin word which means weeping or tearful.
Okay.
Lacrimosa does. So the death, tainted memories of balance lost forever. Bury the truth of all unity. Whew, that's crazy. It's funny because when they got to that part, that one, it was a little bit like, you know, like, I guess traditionally Catholic sounding to me. Like
really?
When they were singing that part. Well, it was Latin too, also. And obviously, you know how that goes.
Uh-huh.
So that was probably like my least favorite. That was probably like your most favorite part of the song. That was like probably like my least. The rest of the stuff was just like dramatic and thematic and rich and fun. And I loved it. I really liked it. I'm going to listen to that again for sure.
Really?
Yep. Again, like anytime that I listen to...
What was it about that?
I don't know. It like made me happy inside. I don't know how to describe it.
Interesting.
Yeah, usually, like I said, when it's like thematic and like sort of like dramatic, and I usually, you know, like Mozart and stuff like that, like it usually like makes me feel like so depressed, like even to the point of feeling angry because I don't want to be depressed. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely.
So this one like had that, but they
why
layered
everybody
it.
was so surprised at your hatred of what do you call it? The classical. You gave somebody like a -52 or something.
Bach. With Bach, I gave it a -50. So this to me was like, wow, I can handle this version because I think, okay, I'm just analyzing in this moment alone. I don't know if it's perhaps deeper or less or more shallow than this, but I think that when I hear the Bach, there's so much emotion and depth, and I have no place to put it. And it's not like you're gonna just sit there and like cry. There's no place to go with it, and so it like just sits there. And I think that I end up feeling agitated because I'm just like I feel sort of lost in this ocean of emotion that I am not privy to know why we're feeling this way. So if I can point to something or I can figure out a bad guy, it's so funny because what you said the other night to me. If I have some place to put it, then it's like, okay, if I'm watching a sad movie and it gets to a really intensely emotional part, but I have the story to tell me why I feel like that, then I can make sense of it. But when there's emotion that I can't make any sense of, and it's like that deep and that rich, like it's just too, I think it feels like too painful or too overwhelming to me. But this had like that in there, but because they gave us like a track to run with and go with, I felt like I can accept this and go with this feeling. Like I don't necessarily have the whole story. Because obviously they're writing a concept album. And so they're putting in sound, but this sound originated somewhere in them and who knows where it originated before that. So they've had thoughts and feelings in their own lives that they were able to transpose into music. And I only know this from watching you do your stuff. Like that gets transposed, and the music that comes out like from your guitaring and stuff, like I'm like, that song that it became was not how it started. Like I see you in moments sometimes that become songs. And so I know that what I'm seeing with you, like, and nobody knows the depth of those stories. And they're going to hear the music and people might feel emotional, but they don't know all of what goes into your music and all the feeling. I mean, for God's sake, I don't even know, because I know sometimes I'm looking at you and I'm like, that seems like a holy moment. There's something going on there that's much deeper than what I can see. And I just feel, you know, I guess this is going to sound like maybe like a little too big for me. I don't know. I feel honored sometimes to be in the moment, like in the room when one of those moments is taking place. I don't always notice when they're taking place, but when I do, I'm like, oh, there's something happening here. So it's a pretty crazy, yeah.
That's
so
interesting.
I'm looking at these people, and Bach, it's probably the same thing. So I can't enter. I'm not privy to any of that. So I can't, like, experiencing the pain of the music and not being able to put it someplace. But this, I think I was so happy to say I can accept that feeling, because we're talking about the death of balance. So there was a sense of loss in the music that they were communicating, but I was okay with it because I felt like musically, like, they gave me some other stuff that I could deal with it with. A lot of times when I was a teenager and I was feeling like emotions that I don't think that I felt like I was allowed to have, I would exercise, do some Taibo, go for a run or something like that. And that always made me feel better to be able to do something with those feelings. So I think that this music kind of was like that for me. So loved this one. And then it made me happy.
That makes a lot of sense. I was kind of, I was right there with you. This is a very, very interesting band, especially toward. Where's middle? Was there toward the end of this song like an actual classical little interlude? There was something that I heard like toward the end, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, the WATCHALONGS said a lot of this album is covers of actual orchestras.
Yeah, that sounds real. I'm like, that sounds really freaking familiar, man. Yep. Like that last part. So he did say that it was a lot of it was covering the orchestra stuff, like that's happened before.
That's what he's in middle said. It sounded like it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And
that
then
makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. Nito said, as a drummer, I won't lie, the drums in this song are extremely complex. They remind me of Mike Portnoy. If I said that right.
That's a dude from Dream Theater, right? Portnoy. All right, what did you get this song?
I experienced this one as a 10. This one was fun for me, and I'm going to listen to this one again because I feel like I think that there's a little bit more that I can explore. So the kids had this question. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Us. I'm not going to give any spoilers. Well, maybe this is a spoiler, so perhaps you should skip
did
that.
They start watching that again?
They already watched it. And so they asked me, they were like, Mom, like...
Because they're doing the Middle America thing, and they saw the girls saying we're Americans?
No, they're into thrillers right now. They're like, Mom, like, if your double came to you, like, would you kill it or would it kill you? And I was like, it took me like a day to like figure out what it is. And I came back to them today with an answer. They're like, you didn't really answer us yesterday. And I was like, yeah, that's because I needed more time to think about it. And I did think about it. And I realized I have grown in self-awareness like within the last chunk of time. So I'm like, I do think that I would be able to take out my double, because my double is like the worst version of yourself. So they're very... like, they're going to always fall for their same mistakes where you've grown. So I'm like, I know what my weakness is on that side. So I was like, I feel like
you ain't going
I would take out my double.
Yeah, I think you take out your yeah.
So what did you give this song? I wish I could listen to this one again. I'm not going to lie. I would put this back through. Like if we were hanging out Wackatory in your living room listening to this all together, I'd be like, back it back up again.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, the song really didn't hit me that way. I mean, it was okay as an instrumental. At the
Archero.
Well, what did Archero say?
Our Sori is the double.
Well, I mean, that's kind of. I mean, I don't want to completely ruin, but I mean, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I was like, that's the thing about like,
say what you will.
That is what you're actually thinking of. All right. I'm going to give this one a solid 8. I mean, it's an instrumental. It's something that's getting us to the next song. So I'm going to wait for the next song to actually hear about it.
Well, I mean, we had the Death of Balance and Lacrymose in there. You also had the Latin phrase in there. Did you like that Latin part when it came out?
Well, I always like the Latin stuff.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean,
so
that's not really, that's not
coherence,
a real... Coherence,
is it good? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What do you mean?
Well, I just saw that somebody, Ben was suggesting we watch the movie Coherence, and that just kind of sounds like something I would enjoy. Coherence.
Yeah, it does. It does sound like some horrible movie you would enjoy. You like these terrible movies where, you do. You like these horrible, painful movies. And
I
shit.
also like What was that show that I really got into with the old ladies?
Yeah.
What was the name of that one?
I forgot the name of this. I forgot. But yeah,
It was like basically the
old
name
white
of it was
ladies.
just like these two ladies.
Yeah, it's
Their
yeah.
husbands turned out to basically be, they were not basically.
Yeah, their
I'm saying
husbands were,
basically.
like,
Their husbands turned it out to
legitimately-
be gay with each other.
legitimately
So then they end up
gay.
becoming friends and living together. But it's, I loved watching that show. It was one of my,
It was a great
one
show.
of my favorites.
It's one of the
Anyway.
one of the best shows. Ever.
Okay, so what do you give the one we just listened to?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I mean, it's a instrumental. So
Wackator, what do you give that one? The one that I found so fun.